Hey guys, I just flew in. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Anyways, today we got Gio.
Hello.
Jesus.
Yeah, by the way, this is Some Nights on the Internet, just to throw that out there.
Shit, my bad. You guys already knew this by now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Duh.
All right. Jesus checking in. Ching.
That sounded like changing in.
Checking in. You know, just
Clocking in?
You clocked in. There you go.
All right. Josh, what are you doing?
I'm just sitting here. Yeah.
Gio, what are you doing?
Just chilling.
Ooh, chilly. All right, anyways. All right, so today Gio's going to read some stories off of
Reddit.
So she already read it, so now we don't need to. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was a short episode.
That was pretty good.
All right, check us out on Night
that
Girl
wasn't too
and peace out.
Wasn't bad at all.
All right, so we're going to do some scary stories. This one's about a robbery. It's only scary if you don't carry.
Just don't steal my
Yeah,
story.
they're not inside that joke. They
I
don't know it yet. So.
I know, but it's
That's the
so
best.
funny though.
It is when I'm listening to a podcast and they have like an inside joke. You're like, I just want to know.
Maybe they'll expose it on another episode.
All good podcasts have that, so we need to have that now.
Yeah. And you
All
just
right.
feel like you're part of a unknown
And eventually
thing.
they release it, and then you're like, I know what they're talking about. And the next time it's said, they're like, it's only scary if you don't
It does
carry.
create. It does create a little bit of hunger. What did you
It's an
say?
earthquake fire.
Earthquake fire. What the fuck
Earth,
does that
wind, and fire.
mean? Earthquake
All
fire.
right, sorry, go ahead.
And
Take it up.
stories. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, it's called Robert Tried to Break into the Car While We Were in It. Hey guys, this is my first time posting on the sub. Feel free to delete it if it doesn't belong here. I was about 8 or 9 years old when this happened, placing it around 2005 or 2016. Wait, 2006, sorry.
I was like, what? This is like a 9-year-old in this shit.
Oh, my mommy and at the time,
It happened between my birth and my death. So
they're like cable men trying to come
Post if you don't like it.
Anywho, at the time I was living in Southwest Florida with my mother in a not so great part of town. So one day my mother is driving me to scout meeting for girls. I'm in the rear driver's seat side, directly behind my mom. We are at a busy intersection in this turn lane, waiting for the light to turn green for us to make a right. This guy comes running down the middle of the road, like literally just running between cars in the main road. He's screaming, help me, please. My mom sees him in the rearview mirror on her side, and although she is a good Samaritan kind of a person, she's also cautious. So she cracks her window.
And a kind person.
Oh, and a kind person. Sorry. She's also cautious. So she cracks her window maybe 4 to 5 inches to see what's wrong, thinking maybe he'd gotten into an accident or something. Guy comes running up to my mother's window and shoves his arm into the car, almost up to his elbow. He's obviously trying to open the door or hit the power locks or windows to get in. My mother, being a badass that she is, punches the shit out of this guy's hand within a few times, and you could hear a pop, then a crack. She must have broken at least one of his fingers. She rolls the window up and crunches his fingers from some more before he can get his arm out all the way. Meanwhile, I'm watching the back seat completely petrified and unable to move. He starts beating the window, saying we better let him in or he'll kill us. At this point, the light turns green, and as soon as the cars in front of us turned, my mom burned rubber to get the fuck out of there. We make it to the location of the scout meeting. By this time, I'm no longer in shock and I'm freaking out. I start crying a bit, but everything is okay. My mom calls the police department to let them know what happened and that we fled the scene. The officer informs her that the Chirkwitchitty had been robbed not even a block away from the intersection we were at. The suspect had fled on foot and eventually was caught, but the officer assumed that was the man who tried to break into our car. At the time, I didn't think it too deep besides being spooked by the incident itself. As I've gotten older, I think about the worst case scenarios. What if he had been able to get in? What if he would hurt my mom? What if he would hurt me? What if he pulled my mom out of the driver's seat and driven away with me in the car? What if he had a weapon? So electronic thief and attempted a carjack. Let's not meet again.
So scary.
Well, I mean, being a little girl, I mean, she's probably fucking like, what's going on? Oh, my God. Most people from Florida are fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Florida's-
South Florida. It's like they're not
are
really
fucked.
surprising.
Just
Florida
Florida
in general.
Florida, yeah.
Look at everywhere.
Florida's a
Well, I just
fucking
said so.
trash hole.
Jacksonville.
Everything that
Orlando.
happens, like that's just completely fucking weird. Happens in Florida.
People all up on that Molly and shit, bro.
Bath salt dog.
Too many Xanax and other
So what-
shit mixed together.
Corona-
Corolla's
Salt's
got that skit where it's like they tell a little news story like that, and then they go, "Is it Germany or Florida?"
Or Texas.
some fucked up
Weird
shit
stuff happens in
Germany.
Texas too.
Yeah, but it's not Germany or Florida.
Texas. Murders. Texas.
Jesus is from Texas.
Yeah.
But things, when you listen to the news and you watch crime stories, a lot of it happens in
a lot of it
Texas.
happens in weird places like that. I do admit. A lot of people, a lot of crazy people.
There is a lot of
Chattanooga,
people.
Tennessee.
Dude, Tennessee is beautiful, so I don't know. I mean,
I
maybe.
really want to go there.
It's cool.
It's alright.
I liked it better than Florida and Texas. I don't know. Texas is cool, but
Where
Texas
in
is also
Texas?
very big. I was in San Antonio, and then I was in
San Antonio.
DFW, and then Brownsville, and
Brownsville, Texas.
La Feria, and then Arlington.
Arlington's where my heart is.
Yeah, it was a real nice place.
That's where the cemetery is.
That's where my heart is.
That's interesting.
All right, let's hear another one.
Well, hold on. I want a female's point of view on, because we're dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Eric would have shot him.
I would have been
Yeah,
scared.
he would have been shot for sure.
You would have been scared?
Yeah.
I'd have been like, what the fuck you doing,
If I was a
bro?
little girl in the back, I'd probably.
No,
be
I'm
scared.
saying as a dude. You're not
Are
a
you
girl.
talking about the driver? Are you talking about the mom?
We're talking about right now, and Jesus just placed himself as the little girl.
Yeah,
in the back. He's like, I'd have been scared.
I would have been so scared.
I'm a little girl.
I think the mom's a
She's night girl
badass
underscored.
for thinking quickly and doing something about it. Because
man,
a lot of women don't. We do get scared and we
I mean,
get
she's got a
paralyzed.
baby in the back, so mother instinct kicked in. Was like, the fuck, who's your mama?
I know,
bear?
but do you,
know what I'm saying?
like it's pretty interesting. Like a lot of women don't know how to react, and it's true. I mean, men do too, but
Women freeze, bro.
we do freeze. So I think it's really
I think-
cool that this
No,
mom
it's cool for sure.
thought quickly on her feet and got shit done. And
I just think mama bears. You see
Yeah,
a
for
woman
sure.
with child, don't try to rob that one because more likely she's gonna put up more of a fight than some girl walking by herself.
But the fact that it's like being a woman, you're taught to be polite all the time. So the fact that she had that gut instinct initially
I think my sister
To
missed
see-
that teaching.
to see that the guy was running and her first instinct was like, let me close this
She was
window,
actually aware of her surroundings, which
which
is
was really
awesome.
cool.
Right.
So
Situational
stay sexy,
awareness.
don't get murdered.
Oh shit!
damn.
When I heard that story, I kept thinking like if it was in the Seth Rogen like movie. So his hands in there was like, give me your fucking wallet. You know, saying the guy's freaking out and shit, and then them freaking out, cracking him up, and like I kind of thought of it as funny, but obviously
that
the
wasn't
situation
funny,
is the
bro.
opposite.
That's never funny.
I guess if I
Nah.
saw it in your mind, I'd have been like, but I can't. See
I just
it.
I just thought of it like a skit in the Seth Rogen movie. It's kind of funny. Next story.
So, come on, one tease a little bit longer. So whatever, done. Go to the next one.
He's like, I was scared, and then now I think it's funny.
All right, go ahead, Gio.
Well, I mean,
Next
I was talking about like the little girl's perspective. She was definitely probably scared. I mean, I could see that.
yeah, what would you have done though? As an adult now, what would you do?
I do what she did.
Probably did what she did. I mean, I don't carry, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Even if I
Hit his
did,
hands.
I don't think I could pop off on him. I mean, I wouldn't be like, yes, this is the time. Fuck yeah, pop, pop. You know, I've been waiting for this. It's just,
That's Eric.
it's more like, damn, dude, like stop.
Please
He's not, please no. Please no.
Just
No,
stop.
don't hurt me, please.
Come on,
She
bro.
wasn't ready.
All right, Joe. Let's hear another one.
Okay. This one's called Christian Pamphlet Turned
Scary
Star.
one though. It's gotta be scary.
This is the story of one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. I live in a small city in a small country in the South Pacific.
Sorry. I'm gonna take a drink, so I want to remember everything.
Do you have to shake it? What is this? What are you drinking? Whiskey over there?
Spill myself.
Shit.
All right, go ahead.
So I start over? Or? Okay.
He's
Well-
just going to
Cut that.
interrupt again.
Okay. While there is definitely weird shit that goes on in this country, hitchhikers being murdered, gangs, etc., it's not like some of the strange backwater towns of America, and is generally considered to be a very safe place. I'm a female, and this happened last year when I was 24. I sometimes go for walks late at night when I can't sleep, and I live in an apartment in the middle of the town. I walk in areas that are very well populated in the day and weekends, but deserted on weeknights. One night I was feeling particularly down in the dumps and couldn't sleep, so I decided to go for a walk. I walk up a long empty street and then around the block and made my way back down on the busiest street during the day. But being around 2 a.m., it was dead. Even though it was brightly lit, it is still have an eerie feeling of emptiness. When I was a few blocks away from the apartment, I saw a guy standing on the footpath up ahead. Nothing unusual, but he looked at me as if I approached him. Okay, when I was a few blocks away from my apartment, I saw a guy standing on the footpath up ahead. Nothing unusual, but he looked at me as if I approached like he wanted to talk to me. As I passed him, he handed me a pamphlet, and being the overly polite person that I am, don't be polite, I took it. As I walked away, I looked at the pamphlet and saw it had some kind of Christian thing which was talking about sinners and hell. It was weird, and this guy was out at a time of night handing pamphlets, but I just thought whatever and continued my way. I got to the intersection where 5 streets meet, and it's one of the busiest in the city. I pressed the button, waiting for the signal to go green so I could cross. There wasn't any traffic, but I wasn't in a hurry due to boy racer cars which speed through the city at night, so I decided to wait for the signal. As I was waiting, suddenly pamphlet guy was standing next to me grinning. He said, "Hi, what's your name? Can I walk you home? Where do you live?" I ignored him as I waited, starting to feel uneasy. Just as the signal went green, my phone rang. It was my sister calling from Switzerland. She must have got the time zone difference mixed up to be calling me at this time, but I happily answered. I crossed the road while I was talked to my sister and got completely engrossed in the story she was telling me about the point where I briefly forgot about the guy. Part way down my street, I looked over my shoulder and saw the guy walking behind me a little back and started getting quite nervous. I told my sister what was happening while telling myself I was being paranoid. I got to the front door of my apartment building and saw that the door was standing open. Holy shit. There was a restaurant in the building, and the employees sometimes leave the door open when they're sorting out the rubbish and at the end of the night, which against the rules of the body corporate. I pressed the button to lift and just got out. Just as I got in the turned around, I saw the guy had come through to the open door and was sprinting towards the lift. The door closed just as he was reaching the lift, and while I was repeatedly pressed button to close the doors, silently panicking. Despite the fact that I could hear the button outside, the lift being hurriedly pounded on, the lift thankfully lurched upward and the huge wave of relief washed over me. I told my sister what was happening, and she said to hurry to my apartment and lock the door. The lift stopped at my level, the 3rd story, and I got out and walked to my door. I fumbled around for my keys as my hands were shaking. Just when I got them out, the door which led to the stairs swung open. It was a pamphlet guy. He must have seen which floor the lift stopped and run up the stairs to my level. I jammed the key in the lock and shoved my way inside, but before I could close the door, he stuck his foot in the door. Oh my God. I screamed and pushed as hard as I could, slamming the door as hard as I could. After several slams, he pulled his foot out, and I managed to close and lock the door, putting on the chain. It was when I realized that in my panic, I had left the key in the door outside. I watched through the peephole and saw him look down and take the key out the door. Then he stared at the peephole with a creepy, twisted smile on his face. Even though I knew he couldn't see me, I felt that his gaze was boring a hole straight in my mind. I was so scared that I just froze with my sister still on the other side of the phone, which was now lying on the floor. My heart was pounding faster and harder than I've ever felt before, and I could hear a rushing noise which seemed like it came from inside my head. After what seemed like 10 minutes, but probably around 1 He turned and walked to the door downstairs. As he opened the door, he turned back, looking straight at me, and held up the key, swinging it back and forth and grinning. Then he disappeared through the door. I started crying and picked up the phone, explaining what happened to my very worried sister. She told me to call my mom and stay with her for the night, which I did. Of course, the next day I got the locks changed, but I'm still terrified that he'll come back and try the key. I'm now much less naive and have stopped going for the late night walks. ETA. I left out a lot of what happened at the end of this. I called the police as soon as he left, but despite there being CCTV footage of him in the building and taking fingerprints from the door handles, they weren't able to identify him. All the residents of the building were made aware as soon as possible. He was featured very briefly on a TV show called Police 10-7. It will be obvious to any New Zealanders now that this happened in New Zealand, to see if any member of the public could identify him, but still nothing. I didn't bang on anyone else's door because mine is at the end of the hallway from the stairs door and down the extra bit of the hallway with just my door. Yes, I did everything wrong. I was very complacent and street smarts is not my strongest point. I honestly didn't realize just how much danger I was in. Since he was reasonably far away from me when I last saw him before I entered the building, I didn't think he was going to follow me inside. This kind of thing doesn't happen much where I live, but I wisened up very quickly about that. I can't remember exactly what was the pamphlet. I found it in my pocket jacket about a month later and threw it out immediately. It was something about being saved from the devil by confessing your sins to cleanse your soul. It looked pretty professional given the circumstances.
Fuck. It's a long bitch. What'd you think about it, Eric?
I think it's pretty crazy. I think...
Damn, the craziest part was he was like jingling the keys, right? He's like, I got you, girl.
I think she's lucky.
For sure.
You know what I mean? She could have been raped in her own apartment. But I think it was wise for her to be like, what the fuck? You know, why is this guy out here at 2 o'clock? But to sit there and talk on her phone while she's walking, it wasn't smart. She should have paid more attention to the guy.
Man, the worst case scenario is what he barges in there and makes her sit on the couch while he tells her like religious shit. Tries to convert her.
Pretty sure her getting fucked by him what is the more worse shit.
Or killed.
Nah, religion's way worse than
this one kind of
all right
made more sense to me because back in college some nights I wouldn't be able to sleep, so I'd go out and just
Were
walk.
there some nights on the internet?
No. Oh, now you want to say the show name?
Plugging it.
So I would go out and I would at 2 or 3 in the morning just walk random places. I'd see, and this was Florida, Orlando, so there's a bunch of crazy motherfuckers out there. So I mean, I'm a guy, so I have a lot less chance of getting followed or whatever, harassed by men other than women. But I don't know, man. It's not a crazy thing to do to just walk out in the middle of the night somewhere. What do you think about it, Josh?
I think she's obviously lucky.
It's in New Zealand.
Very naive girl to put herself in those positions. And the biggest part is when she got out of the elevator and she said she walked to her apartment from there. Like,
right.
Fuck, aren't you running?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really victim blaming right now? Because that seems to be...
No, but how would she know that he
she
would
could have got her key ready while she was on the lift. So she had it ready to go in the door, but she didn't. She'd rather talk on the phone.
I can't believe you guys are
with the eyes
blaming.
I wonder what she said that he was able to see what floor she was at, right? So if he was going upstairs already, how did he know that she was like 3rd floor?
Because she was fumbling in while he was he got there.
So it stopped. She was walking, and he's
instead of running.
And he ran.
Let's just victim blame this whole time. Why don't we?
She's not a victim.
Are you kidding me?
She was nearly
not a victim. She was almost a victim.
Wow.
That's true. That's not a victim.
No, you're a victim the moment someone preys on you.
What?
Well, okay, well, to avoid that, when he started sprinting at the elevator to get on the elevator with her, she should have known she was in trouble.
I can't do this podcast with you because I can't believe you're putting it all on her. Like, that's...
It's not all on her. I'm saying
Dude, dolphins mad
at that point, it's on her to avoid the situation further. She obviously knows she's being pursued.
Men...
She's still going to walk?
First of all, I feel like fuck politeness, to quote my
Okay.
favorite murder girls. The moment just because some guy is handing you like some pamphlet and you want to be polite, don't do it. Don't take the pamphlet. Just keep walking. Ignore them. Acknowledge them, because the moment you acknowledge an attacker, they're less likely to actually attack you. But
You're kind of doing what he just said.
You're saying the same shit.
No,
Don't victim blame.
I'm not victim
You're
blaming.
saying she should have done some other stuff that she didn't do. It's just okay because you're a girl.
Well, he's a piece of shit. And
Okay,
when someone's
we're not
like,
arguing about that.
Okay, first sign should have been that he has religious.
Well, I mean, she admitted that there's a couple things that she didn't do. That's fucking nice,
First
man.
thing should have been he was religious.
Yeah, when someone, there's one thing to be religious, and then there's another thing to drink water in a glass right next
I
to
haven't
it.
made a noise yet. No, you're just waiting.
Are you kidding me? No, there was a lot of
You're making
noise.
a bunch of fucking noise.
It looks like such a satisfying glass of water.
She just said it.
You were making noise.
They didn't make noises now.
I just did
You were
right now.
Sucking the moisture off balls.
Dehumidifying balls.
Trying to hang out later?
Oh, that's a good story.
Well, let's just wait till he's done chewing his eyes.
Or I know there's one more, or you can go back to that original list and
Well,
find.
There's another Florida one if you guys want to.
It's 58 right now if you want to.
Thought my boyfriend got home from work. It
wait,
wasn't my boyfriend.
Can we talk about cheating ones? That's dope.
I can't. I don't know if you can search exactly for. This is just creepy encounters. All right. I don't know much about Reddit. All I know is that
That sounds creepy enough. I thought my boyfriend got home from work.
it's a little creepy.
Well, I would have been good, but you guys interrupted me.
Fucking Eric stepped on it.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix this.
Why do you have to see the screen?
I don't like that you can see the screen.
Why do you have to see it?
corrected you.
Because you correct me.
You guys do it to me all the time. It's only fair.
No.
So you don't get to act like the English teacher. You can't read either. Put your mic back. That's it. That's
I
where
could
you
be loud
sit.
enough
That's
anyway.
where you sit.
Look, I could do this and it still sounds like I'm in front of it.
It's called throwing your voice.
Check that out, player.
Stupid, dude. That's stupid. Fuck off.
Boom!
That actually doesn't sound.
Yeah, I know. It didn't sound bad at all. Eric's an asshole.
Just let her read. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Thought my boyfriend got home from work. It wasn't my boyfriend.
It really is.
Fuck. Her new boyfriend. Boyfriend soon enough. You know what I mean? Okay,
She already called for a divorce earlier.
Oh, that's right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes. My boyfriend, who I lived with, works as a teacher in a town about 15 minutes away by train. He gets home more or less at the same time every day, give or take an hour or so. I, on the other hand, work from home.
Hold on, a whole hour between, give or take?
She works for the cable company.
That dude was cheating on her. Give or take an hour difference every day.
Well, man.
Just saying, a lot can happen in an hour, bro. All right, sorry, go ahead.
You just wanted to be about cheating.
You just want to read a cheating
That's
story.
not a bad point. So it's like at your earliest you get home at 5,
Right.
and your latest you can get home at 7. If you just do that enough, then it's like, well,
Right.
then you get 2 hours of bang.
See what I'm saying? Really, what's the next train? Like 15, every train comes through every 15, 10 minutes? There's no reason to be an hour, give or take.
Anyway, if he's
I'm just
cheating,
saying.
he's cheating. Whatever. This isn't about that.
Right.
So this afternoon, I was lying in bed getting work done. It was Tuesday, and I was pretty sure his last class finished at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays, meaning he'd surely be home by 2:30. But around 1 p.m., I heard the front door open and shut. I thought, I guess he's home an hour early today. It was normal for him to skip his last class every once in a while, so I didn't really think anything of it. In fact, I was mostly mentally prepared for an awkward post-fight, hey, how's it going conversation, because they hadn't gotten a fight. So I continued to lie in bed and do my work and wait for him to come in and change his clothes. The bedroom door was closed and I had earplugs sort of halfway in, as I usually do when I'm working. But I could hear the heavy footsteps of him walking around the apartment, as he usually does. If we hadn't been in a mid-fight, I wasn't so preoccupied about the awkwardness of it all. I might have noticed it was strange how slow the footsteps were on how long he spent walking around the living room. But I was caught up with the dramatics of the fight and didn't really think about it. I was just lying there waiting for him to finally come in.
I'm just building up that women just sit there and mentally prepare themselves to have an argument. I can't wait. He's
That's
almost
not
home.
what she's saying. They had already had a fight, so she didn't
she's
want
ready to give him
She
more.
was ready for that follow-up.
Right, exactly.
No, she's ready to
what
be
post
like.
fight was.
I read it as she was ready to say, "Hey, you know
Hey,
what?
yeah,
It's some
exactly.
bullshit. Let's just get on with it."
Yeah. So this is
But
She
like
would have been
waiting.
out there already.
So we're 2 and
Instead,
2.
she's
Nah,
waiting for him.
she's waiting
Guys
for.
think one thing, the women think another.
the reason why. No.
That's some bullshit.
Finally, the bedroom door slowly opened in just a few inches. I turned my head toward the door and prepared to give him a sort of awkward, "We've been fighting for 24 hours, huh?" smile. But the door didn't open more than a few inches. I looked and saw that it was a woman's hand with red nail polish on the doorknob.
Told you he was cheating.
Whoever
It was the night girl.
Sorry.
Whoever was there slowly closed the door. I just, as they had it opened it. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know what I'm doing with the door now.
Without entering the room.
Close it.
Yeah, they just like slowly opened.
Well, it seemed like they opened it and then they closed it, right?
Yeah, and then they opened it again.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, so that's how a door works.
Without entering the room. I jumped out of bed, ripped out my earplugs, and sort of froze there for a few seconds while thinking rapidly. How do you freeze and think?
What color was that nail polish?
How do you think
It
rapidly?
looked good.
My first thought, that was not my boyfriend. Then I thought, could that have been his mom? His sister? The landlady? For some reason, I concluded that surely it was his mom or sister. So I opened the bedroom door and walked into the living room. There wasn't anyone there, but the room smelled heavily of women's perfume. Then I came to my senses and realized his mom and sisters don't have key to the house and never come over. The landlady has never entered without permission. This was a stranger. I ran back into the bedroom and shut the door, now shaking heavily. There is a balcony connected to the bedroom, so despite the cold January rain, I stood there on the balcony and called my boyfriend. He picked up and I asked him if his mom or sister might come over unannounced. He told me, "No, don't move. I'm calling the police." The police were there in 5 minutes and searched the whole apartment.
Good neighborhood.
Yeah. She's probably
Must be in
white.
Beverly
She's
Hills.
probably white. Of course, nobody was there at this point. It was weird, though. Nothing was missing from the apartment, despite us keeping a jar full of money right in front of the entrance. Why?
Because he's cheating.
Because she's white. Nothing was even touched. In fact, it seemed like the intruder came straight to the bedroom, saw my legs on the bed, panicked, and left. Plus, you can't open that big wooden front door without a key. For a few days, my boyfriend and I were convinced it was just a landlady being nosy. I began to feel better. Nevertheless, we demanded that the landlady change our locks. When she came to change them with her husband, she made a discovery. There was a square area about the keyhole that had been scratched away with something. The landlady said surely someone used tools to break into the apartment. Then, a day or two later, my boyfriend told me, "I have something to tell you, but don't freak out." He told me that the orange kitchen scissors were missing. I obviously freaked out. I tore the apartment apart looking for those scissors. It's been 6 months and those scissors are gone. So the whole thing is just creepy and weird. Stranger breaks into a nice apartment. See, it's a nice apartment, but doesn't touch or take anything valuable. Not even the money jar sitting right at the entrance. Takes scissors from the kitchen, goes straight to the bedroom, sees someone in bed, and immediately leaves. I never got to meet the person who opened the door, and I hope I never do.
Oh, she won't.
Well,
until her boyfriend confesses.
What's concerning is she's saying that she heard heavy footsteps in the living room, but she saw red nail polish.
So it's a fat woman.
Is she a very big fat person? Let me just tell you, my mom has really heavy footsteps.
Oh my goodness!
It's like she sounds like she weighs 500 pounds. No joke.
Her mom's not fat at all.
She's like somebody that walks with heels. Just
Yeah, she does. It's awful.
Dominance. I own this bitch. What's up?
Yeah, I don't argue that.
I kind of agree with Eric. I think he's cheating.
Right? I mean, girl came home. She was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go surprise him." Wait, I think someone's here.
I think he's
Let me
married.
open the door. Oh my god, I see her feet. Oh, I should run.
What?
What?
Just none of them make sense.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Home dude's been cheating, bro. And then he's like, oh, no, don't do nothing. Call the cops.
Unless it was a man dressed as a woman.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it's a man dressed as a woman who came in.
That's why he came to get the scissors so he can make a new dress.
Imagine. So the money's missing too, right? So
no, the money's not missing. Nothing's missing but the scissors.
Missing. Just the scissors.
That's why it's so weird, because the money wasn't so.
Why would you take the scissors and not murder the girl that's in there?
Because he just wanted to make a new dress. He's like, hey, ooh, girl, these scissors are nice. This bitch gonna tear this apartment up looking for these bad boys.
Could you imagine going into an apartment though, like, all right, I'm about to rob this motherfucker, and you get in there and you're like, oh, there's nobody there. So then you like creepily walk around, and you open the door and see like Josh working on his computer, and you're like,
oh shit, let me close it open.
I'm sorry, but if you have the nerve to break into someone's house, you don't give a shit.
That's true to some point.
And it's weird. The whole cheating thing is like, if you're having intercourse and relations with a guy, you're going to go to his house and then break in?
Oh, yeah. Women do that.
Break in?
Yeah, there's crazies out there.
Dude, if he ended it or something.
No, what if he gave her a key? But then it doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense that like if he was cheating and he was doing it on his commute, like during his commute, and she worked from home, like she would know that she works from home, and so she would never really go there.
Yeah, that's
unless he doesn't know, she doesn't know he's married. But then why would, if he doesn't know he's married, then she wouldn't give him the address. Sorry, the cheating thing doesn't work out. I think she made this whole thing up.
That's the worst theory ever.
She made up a story to make it sound.
To go on
She
Reddit.
definitely
People
could.
write this. She's a liar.
Liar.
Typical woman.
Yep.
May you all burn.
We all will.
I know.
I'll burn my hand
I'll
before.
be the one to.
Well, these are dope stories. Next time we'll pull up some really scary ones. Those are they're interesting. They weren't that bad. They entertained me.
You didn't vet these stories first?
I did, bro. I picked those 3 stories. I picked another one too.
Well, we need a new producer.
Man, they were all right.
Sorry, next week we're having candy.
Let us talk.
Yes.
If Eric comes through with that taste test stuff, you will see us all share the same gummy bears. You will see us all share the same gum.
Share the same ones. The same brand.
No, we're sharing the same exact piece of
Fine,
gum.
I go first anyway, so I don't
Eric's
care.
gonna chew on
I
it.
want to go last.
I'm gonna chew on it, and Josh is gonna swallow it down because
Joe
Josh
doesn't get none.
Joe gets a watch.
I don't like gummy bears. I don't like
They
anything
don't like you
gummy.
either.
Gummy bears are people too, bro.
Gummy Bears was an awesome cartoon show back in the day.
What?
I got
Cartoon
followed.
show.
I got
You
followed
remember that?
home once
Go
by
for
a
it.
dude.
Yeah, she's going to say it was Alec Baldwin, but don't listen to her.
Alec Baldwin.
Let's hear it.
No, Alec Baldwin did wink at me at a pizza shop.
Bro.
Why'd you bring that up?
I gotta have eyes.
But he did not follow me. I was on the bus, and this guy was trying to talk to me, but I had my headphones on, so I just kind of like waved at, like, you know, try to be like, sorry. And you do, like, as a woman, you do pretend to be on the phone because it makes it so that
Dude, take the hint.
there's someone there that you can talk to in case something happens. But he got off the bus, and when I got off the bus, and he was like, hey, and then I just said, hey, because yes, we are taught to be polite or whatever. So I kept walking, and then he started following me. And he followed me up. Luckily, I was going to my friend's house, so I got there. And then once I walked in the door, he left. But he had followed me all the way there. Slowly, creepily behind me.
When did he stop?
No, he got to my friend's house with me. But he was a few feet away behind me.
Riding the bus.
Yeah, these things happen to women all the time. This isn't
It's your
like,
fault for riding the bus.
Yeah, it's my fault for riding the bus.
It's true.
Public transportation.
Shouldn't take the bus.
I don't know. Some people have to take the bus.
Some people have.
You know what I'm saying?
Not everybody has the
There's
luxury
Uber,
of
Lyft,
having
yeah.
a car.
Some
Well, this
people-
was before Lyft.
I mean, just saying.
I wish this podcast was before ice.
It'll be hot as fuck in here.
Alrighty, guys. Well, if you enjoyed the show and you want to follow us, love us, send us cool shit, please follow us on Facebook and or Instagram at LoudBunchMedia all together. Again, that is Instagram, Facebook, LoudBunchMedia. And if you want to say hello, give a shout out, please follow Josh at Night_Girl. That is NIT_GURL. That's only on Instagram. He checks it every day, all day, and has the most followers everyone's ever seen in their life. So please
he has
send
a problem.
Please send him a message.
He's a drag queen.
Please see his amazing content. And please give us a review on SoundCloud, iTunes, and or any place you get your podcast. We are on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud as of right now. Thanks.
Deuces. Y'all have a good one.
Peace. 3, 2, 1 out.
You. Yep.
Druggy with an axe. We should have read this one.